With Iceborne coming out soon, I thought it would be a good idea to take a look back at Monster Hunter World in the base game. Just take a look at some of the most interesting monsters from that time period. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the top 5 monsters from the base game. When I say the base game, I am referring to the ones that were added after release as well, so things like Devil Joe and beyond that. When ranking these monsters, it's really nothing more than just kind of personal preference. I will be including just kind of thoughts about their design and a little bit about the gameplay. But that's basically the rules. There's no real set standard here. It's just kind of the ones that I find most interesting. So with that, I will get started. Okay, and so number 5, starting off the list, is going to be Basil Goose, which I think is probably going to surprise a lot of people, considering Basil Goose is extremely irritating the first time that you encounter him, because all he seems to want to do is interrupt your fight with other monsters. And while yes, of course, that is extremely annoying, when it comes time for him to actually be the focus of the hunt, that's when I think he kind of elevates a little bit, because conceptually he is very interesting, flying about and just kind of dropping scales on everyone, and he telegraphs his attacks pretty well, so it's not like an infuriating fight. He's pretty well balanced, and I think the concept overall is very interesting, which is why I have him as number 5. And so coming in at number 4 is going to be Odogaron, and I think this is probably a little bit more of a popular one. Funnily enough, when I first fought him, I was convinced that I was never going to fight him ever again because I hated the first time fighting him. However, I think as it stands now, he is actually my most fought monster, and, well, honestly, I attribute that a lot to the fact that I was trying to get an Odogaron gem, and he will never drop those. It's very irritating. But despite the fact that I fought him so much because of that, he also is just a very interesting kind of design. It does have that kind of Japanese feel to him, very kind of aggressive and fast, which can be irritating, but I think conceptually it works with the claws and everything, and the armor that he creates also has that Japanese inspiration behind it. I think that's probably what makes him popular, is the armor is very cool, and I will agree to that. So that's kind of why he's number 4 on the list. Very solid monster, definitely improved after the first time that I fought him. Third on the list is going to be Legiana. This one I can pretty much attribute to the fact that I love anything ice related. So I have a feeling Iceborne is going to be up my alley. But with Legiana, it's just a cool concept in the sense that it's a dragon that uses ice. Like, that's pretty much all I would really have to say about it. The armor is kind of eh to me, but it can be cool. And in the Iceborne beta that they had, I actually thought that the new Legiana armor looked pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to fighting the new one in that one. But yeah, Legiana is just kind of this solid monster again, not too tough. Telegraphs his attack pretty well. Ice Blight can be kind of annoying, but that's not too big of a debilitating status effect. So Legiana just kind of sits as a cool dragon type that's really the only ice monster in the game. So that definitely makes Legiana stand out above the rest. Number 2 on the list is going to be Xeno'jiiva. This one is just really interesting because I love like the glowing kind of effect on him. It's a big fight. He's supposed to be like a baby, but he's like one of the biggest monsters. But despite that, he's actually really interesting. The first time I fought him, it was kind of a pushover. But like I said, not too focused on the gameplay. It's really the design that I'm really going for here. I love just the fluorescence of kind of his character. As a bow user, it is a little bit easy because he's so huge. You can just spam Dragon Piercer just over and over again. All of the shots hit him. So again, that does make him a little bit of a pushover. But just fighting him is a lot of fun. A little hard to tell sometimes what kind of lasers he's going to be using, but his sluggishness makes up for that in the sense that you can kind of run away and heal when you need to. You got time. But overall, I think it's a really good cap to the end of the game because he's just a really cool monster. Like, it could be maybe a little bit more difficult to be considered as more kind of a final boss. But I think overall, he's just a really interesting concept. Well worth number 2. Number 1 is going to be a fairly popular one, I would assume, considering he is in so many games, and that is going to be Kirin. Kirin, for some reason, I just love his design. It's just kind of this, it's not this big hulking dragon, it's not this brood, it's not like even Odogaron. It's just a cool, like, elemental monster. And he telegraphs his attacks very well, but that doesn't make him easy. In fact, he is a little bit difficult in the sense that as a bow user, once he gets into his like kind of lightning state, it becomes very precise having to aim for the head. So he does require a little bit more finesse than the other monsters, especially the Arc-Tempered version. He's one of the easier Arc-Tempereds, but you really do have to be very precise and kind of watch what you're doing with that. Obviously the mantles make it a little bit easy, but yeah, he telegraphs his attacks in a way that lets you see where you need to go, and it's not like you're getting blindsided by anything. And again, kind of like I was saying with like Yana, the elemental, like really strong elemental monsters are really interesting to me, and I love Kieran's armor in pieces. I think when you wear it all at once, it looks a little bit odd, but I think, as you can see as I've been using this video, the different, I have the Kieran Gamma armor for the chest and the waist. I think when you kind of separate those pieces and kind of mix them with other things, they look really strong. So yeah, I think Kieran has been in a lot of games for a reason. Very interesting concept, cool armor. I mean, definitely deserving of #1. So that's just a quick summation of 5 monsters that I thought were really interesting in the world. Looks like with the Iceborne beta, we're going to get a lot more new ones. Looking forward to a lot of the returning ones. I'm not a huge veteran of this series, having really just played this and a little bit of Generations Ultimate, but there were a lot of cool monsters in that I'm already excited to see in Iceborne. So it'll be cool when that happens. But until then, that was my top 5.